Picks and Parlay family, it's me, Detroit Lenny, here to talk a little NFL action. Let's go! Football season is upon us. We're coming right around the corner. So we're going to break down the NFL, some AFC North action. Now, with Cam Ross here, bring Cam in here. Don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe. Use promo code LENNY20 when you're looking for all Cam Ross's premium plays, best bets over at picksandparlays.net. Now, Cam Ross has been tasked with the AFC North. This is going to be, I know, hold your applause. This is going to be, we're going to break down the AFC North. Cam I should say. Give us his opinion.
Yeah, first and foremost, this is probably going to be the toughest, if not one of the toughest divisions in football. They have several potential playoff teams, with the Ravens and Bengals. They probably have a chance to actually win the AFC, could represent the AFC in Super Bowl. They have the reigning MVP of the league in this conference. All four teams have stout schedules. Schedule-wise, the Bengals do have the edge over the Ravens, even with the odds. But it's gonna be a dogfight in this division, and we're gonna start from the top with the reigning MVP, with the reigning champions of this division, and I personally think they are going to again win the division. Lamar Jackson hasn't fared well in the playoffs. He promised the Ravens a Super Bowl trip, tons of success, coming into his rookie year, and it hasn't really happened yet, but they keep getting closer and closer, and they have added things and changed things around this year coming in. Derrick Henry is one of the first additions that's going to come into that offense. It's going to widen up the offense. Their offensive line isn't great, but Henry in the backfield can help Lamar have more time. They're still going to have a loaded, stout defense, even with the coaching staff, and all of the pieces of the defensive coaching staff are gone, as they had the number one defense in the league last year. All the takeaways, all the turnovers. Kyle Van Noy is back with them. He will be a big thing up front with the edge. They have great linebackers. They have great defensive backs, and I think that's going to be the difference for them as they get through their schedule. One of the biggest games on their schedule is week 12 or 13. They play the Eagles right before a bye, and that could be a big determining factor for their success heading into the playoffs. As far as the Cleveland Browns, they are going to have, I'm going to take the Ravens to go over their win total of 10.5. I think they're going to get it done. They may split with the Bengals. I think they're going to have a ton of success within the division, and that's going to get them over the 10.5. The Cleveland Browns, however, they too have a chance to be great. Deshaun Watson is going to take over again. He's going to be back. They have depth. They have talent. They have the pieces there to finally get over the hump and find success. Their defense is going to do enough for them to hold teams down. But the Browns have retained a ton of their roster. They won 11 games last year. Crazy circumstances. Flacco came on, lit the league up. But they need Deshaun Watson. If he stays healthy, that puts them in a different stratosphere, in a different classification, and that's what is going to actually make me take them over the 8.5, is I think they will do enough to at least finish this season above 500. They won't be able to do enough to win the division, but they'll be one of the better teams in the division overall. So the Ravens over 10.5, the Browns over 8.5, with the Ravens winning it. Now we go to the next ones. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to be stellar this season. They just are. It's just how it is with them. They are loaded top to bottom. They have a ton of talent. They've signed guys, re-signed guys. But just like the Browns, if Burrow stays on the field, they're a Super Bowl contender. They're going to run it up. They have the playmakers. They have the depth. They have the coaching. They have a ton. They have new pieces, new faces. But again, Burrow staying healthy will be the difference. They have had tons of success in years past, and they too have a pretty formidable schedule. First 2 weeks, they start sort of, New England Patriots, then they're on the road against Kansas City, then Washington, Carolina, and then they play the Ravens. Then they have the Giants. If they mess around and can win 4 of those first 6 games, they're really rolling. But either way, I think the Bengals are going to have a ton of success this season, much like the Ravens. They're going to compete at the top of this division. The Ravens and Bengals could both win the home games with each, where an upset here, an upset there could decide this division. I think the Bengals are going to be the second best team in this division. I think they too are going to go over their win total, and I think they too will find their way into the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the fourth and final team in this division, and they have the most question marks, the most unanswered analysis coming into it. They haven't done great over the last few years. They still find ways to go above 500 and kind of keep in the playoff picture, but the Steelers don't have the pieces or the talent that the other teams have, and they start the season pretty easy as well. On the road here in Atlanta, on the road in Denver. Then they have LA at home, the Colts, then Dallas. But the biggest issue for the Steelers is after their bye week in week 9, they go Washington, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City. And then they wrap the season with Cincinnati. The back end of their season is probably one of, if not the hardest stretches in football. And I just don't think the Steelers have enough talent and enough weapons to get over that hump. I'm going to take the Steelers to likely finish at the bottom of this division and go under 8.5 wins, being the least productive of all 4 teams in what will be a stellar AFC North.
Cam Ross, we appreciate you. Promo code LENNY20. Save you 20% off all Cam Ross's premium plays. Good luck, everybody, unless you're against us. Take care, folks.